Hi, Mark.
Okay, folks, it appears we're started, but not officially. So now we'll do it officially. I am calling the meeting of the Common Council to order. It is Tuesday, I believe, January if I can find my agenda. I can find my agenda. It's okay. 27th, right. It's January 27th. It's 6 p.m. and we're in the council chambers of the city of Platteville. Colette, we'll start with roll call.
Okay. Brian Wisnand.
Here.
Lynn Parrott.
Here.
Stephen Badger.
Here.
Kathy Cobb.
Here.
Tony McFall is excused. Barbara Doss.
Here.
Bob Gates.
Here.
Okay, the first item on our agenda is consideration of the consent agenda. We have the council minutes from January 13th. We have payment of bills. I have no appointments tonight to boards or commissions. We have licenses, 1- and 2-year operator licenses to serve and sell alcohol as detailed in your packet. The temporary Class B license to serve fermented malt beverages to the Friends of Our Gallery at 120 West Main from 4 to 7 for the Drift. I think it should be the Driftless Air Artist Reception, which is Friday, March 13th. And a reserve Class B combination beer and liquor license to Augers LLC, Platteville, premises at 65 North 2nd Street. This would be contingent on that location passing all inspections.
Make motion?
Second.
I move to approve all items listed under the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Bob and a
Yep.
second by Lynn to approve the consent agenda as presented. Colette will vote.
Wisnand.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Badger.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Doss.
Yes.
Gates.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we're at the portion of our agenda that is citizens' comments, observations, and petitions, if any. I have one person who has filed a green sheet to speak, and so I would call to the podium the Reverend Jasmine Tesdall.
Good evening, City Council and members of our city leadership team. I'm the Reverend Jasmine Tesdall, pastor of Lutheran Church of Peace here in Platteville and resident of 130 North Hickory Street. I'm also a chaplain major in the Air Force Reserve, having served 13 years in the Air Force. I'm here to implore the council that given the recent activity of Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, in neighboring states such as Illinois and Minnesota and Iowa, and given the development of various legislative bills that are in process, including in Wisconsin, I'm here to implore the City Council to use any tools at your disposal to deny any requests that our city or county law enforcement be utilized to collaborate or assist federal ICE or any Homeland Security agencies with immigration operations. Our police officers and first responders do a really good job of building and maintaining community in our city. And there have been a lot of really great collaboration and a lot of really great important trust and social capital built between the Platteville Police Department and our schools, our churches, and our social services like food pantries and emergency housing shelters. And I would hate to see any of that destroyed. I'm here to share with you that children in my congregation have shared with me that they are terrified that ICE is going to come and take away their classmates or their neighbors. And even that they're terrified that ICE will come and take them away. And that is not a fear that any child should have, and especially not in Platteville, Wisconsin, USA. Children in my congregation also talk very fondly of the Platteville School District Community Resource Officer, Officer Jared. Everybody loves Officer Jared. I hear about him all the time, and they trust him. And that relationship between the school district and the Platteville Police Department and our community is so important for so many reasons, because that relationship helps keep children safe. That relationship helps children in situations of victimhood and abuse, of which I can tell you that I know of, unfortunately, a lot of them. As a pastor, I hear about a lot of stories, and there are far too many instances happening in our small community. So that relationship with children and the Platteville Police Department would be completely broken. And the trust of children throughout this town would be completely betrayed if the officers that they love and know had to help ICE. Not only would those children grow up not to trust the police department, but they might grow up to not trust any level of government. And I, for one, don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen because I'm in the business of building community and building hope and building trust. So I implore you all to not only think about current events and not to let fear rule decisions, but I implore you to think deeply about the future of the city and its residents and the legacy that you wish to leave in this place. I, for one, want your legacy to be one of hope and community and not one of terror and fear. So I urge you as a pastor, as a resident of the city, as a service member of our federal government, and as a citizen of the United States, please, Platteville City Council, in all that you do it in the name of hope and community and encouragement. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments anybody wants to make? Nicola, I believe you had a new employee start this week. Would you like to talk about that?
Certainly, yes. We have a new accounting and finance manager. Her name is Renee Weaver. I think she'll be coming to one of our meetings here soon in the next month or so to meet you. And she's being trained by our outgoing accounting and finance manager, Jeff, whose last day is on the 30th, on Friday the 30th. So we are having some coffee and donuts in the finance department on Friday morning. So we would love to have you stop by and wish Jeff well on his future endeavors.
Great. Ryan or Bob, do either of you want to provide updates on the big projects, building projects that are underway in your areas?
I'll update you a little bit on the pool. Surprisingly, they have most of the vessel poured. They poured right through some very bad weather. Just this week, they had a few days where they could not pour. But they still managed to do a little more framing. So it is still on course to actually open first part of June, right on a regular date. Now, pending, many other things like continued decent weather. But the vessel is pretty much done. Now we going to do the work for the interior of the mechanical room and start the bathhouse. So it's going very, very well. Knock on wood.
Great.
Okay, yeah, we're kind of in the same boat as Bob there, so things are going really well. Most of the interior walls are complete. They're about 90% of the drywall is done inside the building, so they've started mudding and taping inside. The mechanicals are all getting installed, so they're moving right along with all the rough-ins with the electrical and plumbing and HVAC systems. The roof is intact except for a couple trim pieces on the roof cap that they have to finish up. All the exterior block and brick is done except for, you'll notice 3 bricks missing where they had the scaffolding supports into the building. So they'll come back and fill them in once gets a little bit warmer here. So that's going really well. All the interior concrete is pretty much complete. So all the apparatus bays are poured. All the rest of the building is poured. And windows are in and sealed in, so it's moving right along. They're scheduled to start hard to believe, but painting next month. So they'll be doing painting in the apparatus bays and the concrete walls and stuff coming in. So they'll do that before they install some of the other equipment. So moving right along on schedule. Garage doors, I think, are scheduled for probably end of next month as well too. So going well.
Good.
What's
Right.
the target moving date?
Target date.
Target completion date is substantial completion probably by end of August. But I think they're not going to admit it, but I'd say they're maybe a tick ahead of schedule. So
I wouldn't have been it either. Go on. I'm just the project manager in me. I'm sorry. But yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't admit it
I
either, right?
wouldn't give that up. No.
There you go. Okay, anybody else with anything reports to? I would point just, the council gets a weekly update, and I would point out that the police department has recently posted their 2025 annual report. And in that, I see a letter from our chief. And I'm going to read a paragraph of that because it just struck me. So I encourage anybody to go online and find our police department annual report 2025. It gives all these statistics and everything. And everybody knows that Doug is retiring and he's going to be leaving us probably by spring, the 1st of March or so.
September, October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, I've had people ask me what I want my legacy in policing to be. My first thought is that legacies are things that presidents and world leaders are concerned with. I never really aspired to be the chief of police until I'd done it as the acting chief for several months. And I definitely didn't accept the position in order to leave a legacy of any kind. My goal today is the same as it's always been. Do the right thing in the right way, for the right reasons, and hopefully at the right time. It's not a guarantee, but if you can live up to these goals, the rest usually takes care of itself. And so, Doug, this is our first thank you to you. Okay, moving on our agenda. We have several reports in, I have to get back to my agenda. Maybe. I can't find my. This happens to me on occasion, not being able to find the agenda on the computer. Okay, reports in your packet, community safe routes. Steve, anything?
Nothing substantial.
Housing Authority Board, I will tell you all that after nearly a year and many forays into new kinds of things, we have now hired Sandy Cook and her company as the executive director of our Housing Authority. She had been acting as interim, but now she has accepted the full-time position. We've kind of gotten through, and we're happy about that. Library Board, Lynn.
Nothing to add.
Water and Sewer, Steve, or?
We pretty much covered everything last meeting.
Okay. And Airport, can you?
Yeah, same. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, we covered everything on the last meeting. The last thing that we did really was approve the budget in December, so that got run through, and now we're just waiting to get we have a school that, aviation training school that's coming up. So we were just waiting on insurance. I think she's just about there.
You having your annual pancake thing?
I remember that was discussed, but I gotta find out.
Okay.
I will report back on that.
Okay, let's move into the action items then. The first of this is the RFPs for the Trailview development. Joe.
Yes, as mentioned before, this is a request for proposals, document that we'll be sending out to find a developer or developers interested in pursuing some housing development on that property. As I mentioned before, we're dividing the property into 3 different sections, basically just to make it more available to kind of smaller local developers that may not be able to handle the entire property. And I can say that I've already been contacted by a local developer that has expressed some interest in it. So I think that was a good decision that we made. So I asked for comments at the last meeting. I haven't received any since that meeting. So Barb, you had mentioned kind of emphasizing the TIF district a portion of it. And then the only other thing that I forgot to add the map to your packet, but I will be adding one more map that Delta 3 had kind of put together that just shows the potential street extensions because the connectivity is kind of an important part of that from the city standpoint. So I'll be adding that additional map. But otherwise, if there's no other suggested changes, we'll be sending it out with those modifications.
And I think each of the council people got, we had a couple of residents send information. And Joe, I'm glad that you're putting the, the kind of a place for the street. I know that the residents in that area are very concerned about the way the streets go now, and if there are no additional streets, what that might do. So I think that's a good thing to include. Any additional comments? All right, in this draft, it still says the proposals should be submitted by 4:30 PM on blank.
Yeah, we'll put a date in there. I was thinking,
Okay.
I want to make sure they have adequate time to review it. So I was thinking a couple months, so late March, early April, unless somebody's got any other suggestion.
Um,
I'd give it at least 2 months. So I
Okay.
think the end of March is
Yeah, the end of
more
March
than
is good.
appropriate.
Good. And how are we going to promote this? I mean, it's one thing to put it on the website. It's another thing to actively,
Yeah, so I've had good luck. The League of Municipalities has a RFP section, so I'll send it to them. I do have a list of various developers, either that have contacted the city over the years about housing development, and I got a list from WIDA for potential developers that they have worked with. So anybody that I have an email address for, I will send directly to them. But otherwise, like I said, we've had good luck through the League of Municipalities.
and we'd invite anybody here at in the council chambers, or anybody who may watch this, who knows of developers, to also contact Joe with that information. I mean,
Right.
I think
Yep.
the important thing is to spread the word far and wide, so.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Joe, I have a question about that. Not about this, well, it's kind of about that, but not about that. What's our timeline for developing a TID?
So our thinking was that kind of run in parallel to this process. And the main reason for that is, I don't know if you remember the last time we did a TID approval. It was kind of, the TID 9, and we didn't really have a project to go with that. And there was a little pushback from some of the members of the review board. So I think it would be beneficial if we could go in with the TID review meeting to have, hey, this is a project and we've already talked to these developers. They are interested and they have made it clear to us that they can't do it financially without some assistance. So I think it would help that process go along. But so we would have to be starting, that kind of an RFP request as well this spring to find somebody to do that
Mark?
project.
Yeah, Joe and I haven't discussed this, but number one, I agree with what Joe said. You kind of want to go parallel because you want to be careful that you include everything you're anticipating that you might do, not even that you will do, what you might do. Because if a developer comes in and says, well, could you do this with a TIF? And we have the TIF plan already approved and you don't have it in there, then then you have to amend the TIF. You get one amendment to a TIF. So you want to make sure you save that amendment for when you really have missed something. The idea is to get all that stuff in, listen to the developers, even the unsuccessful ones, because you'll pick up ideas that you may want to put in to the TIF plan. And I think that's probably, even though Joe and I didn't discuss it, I think that's probably why he's thinking of the parallel tracks, which I think is the right way to go.
So is this development of the TID document going to be done in-house, or you just said something about an RFP?
Yeah, I'm assuming we would have a consultant that would help us with that. That's what we've done in the past, so.
All right, well, on the agenda tonight is the request for proposals for the Trailview development. I guess the date that is not in there would be on or around the end of March, and you'll pick a date at the end of March to put in. I don't know that there were any other blanks that I saw. So do I hear any additional discussion or do I hear a motion?
Just one quick question for Joe, and maybe I missed it when we were talking earlier, but the couple of residents that sent an email out and they were talking about the concerns with green space and whatnot, do you feel like we've addressed those?
Well, to me, those are the issues that we want to keep in mind when we review the proposals
Right, okay.
to help us make a selection
Okay.
of which project is.
All
most
right, so you're not
beneficial to the
stipulating
city.
something ahead of time, you're kind of waiting to.
No,
start.
and correct.
Okay, all right,
right.
that's all I want. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? No, I do have a comment though. Okay,
I just want to acknowledge the public, the citizens that have interacted with us with this, because it's a lot easier for us to be making these decisions when we hear from the people it's going to affect. So I'd really like to thank all of them that sent emails, that came to the meetings. It's going to help us through this process.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. All right. Any other comments? Or I would take a motion.
To approve issuing a request for proposals to find a developer or developers for the Trailview Development Project. Do we need to stipulate a date?
Do we need to stipulate? I don't. The date is in the
Yeah.
the RFP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. After that, we'll,
Okay.
then there'll be another timeline.
I'll just make the motion.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion to move forward, issuing an RFP to find a developer or developers for the sections of land that we now refer to as the Trailview development. Colette will vote.
Wisnet,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Hop,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Gates.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next we have Resolution 2602. This is a raise order for 645 Sickle Street. And Joe.
Yes, this property that we've been working on, trying to address numerous code violations on that property without any luck. So we're trying to take it to the next step. As I mentioned before, we received the court order to do a inspection for an inspection warrant. And based on that inspection, we feel that the property definitely meets the statutory requirements that allow us to proceed with the next step, which is to issue a raise order. Gives them 30 days to comply. If they don't comply, then obviously we take it to the next step beyond that, which essentially is eviction order, and then we can proceed with raising it ourselves. So as I mentioned before, this isn't the last step, it's the next step, and we'll proceed from there. But this is the important next step in the process, is to issue that raise order. Any questions?
Okay, any questions?
Um, w- Guess I'm, what steps have been, have been taken to notify this person?
Well, we've been sending violation notices for years, and basically they stopped accepting mail. This actually is the second inspection warrant we received, so we've gone into the property twice. Basically not cooperative with any communication, so that route has not worked up to date. So just to anticipate the next question, I have already been in contact with several agencies in the county to seek some assistance for these folks moving forward. Social services had indicated that they would be willing to work with them to find alternate housing when we get to that point.
I'm struggling a little bit because, I mean, this is probably, this is not an investment. This is their whole, I'm sure this is their life, if you will. Is it not possible to condemn the property and get an eviction prior to doing a raise order? Is that not, does that not
I mean, we end up,
force
at-
the issue?
we end up at the same spot. Basically I mean, the property is beyond fixing up. It's gonna cost more to fix it up than it would possibly ever be worth. So it'd be cheaper to tear it down and start over if they had the means to do that, which I'm assuming that they don't. So I think the best step for the community, and actually I think the best step for them, is to get them into other housing that's healthier, more suitable for them to live in. It's not gonna happen without some intervention from the city.
And I guess are the property taxes up to date?
As far as we're aware, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve a resolution authorizing the issuance of a raise order for the property at 645 Sickle Street.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Brian and a second by Lynn to authorize, to approve a resolution authorizing the issuance of a raise order for the property at 645 Sickle Street. Colette will vote.
Wiznett,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Top, Doss,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, moving on now into the information and discussion portion of our agenda, we have the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. Bob.
Thank you. In early 2025, council approved the hiring of Southwest Regional Planning Commission to complete the new City of Platteville Comprehensive Plan. The proposal also included the Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan for the Platteville Parks. The Corp, as it is known, is scheduled, began in earnest in August of last year with meetings with city staff, the Parks and Rec Committee, and the Southwest staff. In September and October, public input meetings were held at the library and at the Brodsky Center, and surveys for public input were made available electronically and in person. Approximately 900 respondents completed the survey, which is significantly higher than the 150 from the previous plan in 2019. This data was shared in several additional meetings, corresponded with city staff and Parks Committee members. A draft was presented to the full Parks and Forestry and Rec Committee in the December meeting, and after feedback from members, the final proposed draft was presented to the Parks and Rec Committee at the January 2026 meeting. At that meeting, the Parks and Rec approved unanimously the following motion. The Parks, Forestry, and Recreation Committee recommends that the City Council adopt the comprehensive outdoor recreational plan as presented in the finals draft. Troy Maggie from Southwest is in attendance and plans to present additional information and answer any questions regarding the plan. The cost of the core plan was included in the original proposal for the complete City of Platteville Comprehensive Plan. Staff recommends council approve the draft and the comprehensive plan.
Okay, I see that Troy is here. Bob, you're the rep to the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Committee. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we hear from Troy?
Not really. Everyone on the committee had an opportunity to read the draft of the proposal and offer suggestions. And then Troy and Jacqueline made a collection of the suggestions and applied those to the draft. And then we saw that at the last Parks and Rec meeting, and everyone was happy and satisfied with the changes that had been made.
I would, before we go on, I would point out that Dave, our Assistant City Clerk, told me that he would see to it that the plan was corrected so that Platteville is not identified as the county seat of Grant County as it is in the current draft. So Troy, would you, so he told me he would take care of that. So
Thanks for your time. I don't have a whole lot more to add. Jacqueline Ascendo was the lead on our team. She's unable to be with us tonight. Appreciate Director Lau's support and coordination and the Parks Committee. The next step, as you review it, if you have comments, you can email it to us or send it maybe to Director Lau and can forward it to us. Incorporating comments that are clerical, anything in nature, that's wonderful. If there's something substantive, we go back to the parks and get their input. But they give us a lot of great input. Following that, we would send it to the DNR along with the resolution you all pass, and then you'll be secure and eligible for DNR funding for the next 5 years. So,
thank you.
thank
Does-
you.
Does, I mean, have y'all looked at it? Does anybody have questions? Comments?
Age. When you talk about,
Page 98? No,
yeah, in
in
our
our thing. not
agenda, or in our packet. Talks about the economy. Within Platteville City, the local economy is driven by business within government, manufacturing, and ag, forestry, fishing, and hunting industries. Under businesses, medical maybe, or healthcare services, because we do have clinics and more
Called out.
high profile there.
So it's on, if you're looking at the plan itself, it's on page 19 of the plan. If you're looking in the council packet, it's page.
I mean, you do, it is called out as being the largest employer, but because it's the largest, there is a clinic there, actually multiple medical associates. So I think our economy warrants some sort of medical healthcare industry emphasis.
So in terms of measurable impact through kind of uniform data sources, gross regional product is available at the zip code level. And we have a fantastic hospital with a lot of great services here. But the one facility, as big as it is and as well as it is, doesn't gravitate to the level of GRP data. If you'd like me to tease out something else and really recognize the value of that, I'm certainly happy to. But I don't have uniform kind of collected and measurable data to speak to that. But those sort of clerical comments are great. We'll put in there whatever you like if you want to send us comments.
Doing that change the tenor of the recommendations?
It doesn't impact anything at all.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
No.
Thinking that if it wasn't gonna benefit it at all, if we could just leave it like it is, and then those that are interested, I mean, it is there and it does, if it's not gonna help us, I don't want it to hurt us, yeah. But yeah.
I guess I would still like to see it called out somehow because it is an economic driver.
It is.
I mean, if you take it in the whole country, we might. A lot of parks and programs are health related. I mean, to me, it kind of.
So what is the language you would like me to put in? If you could give it to me, I'll put it whatever you like to.
I guess I don't really know. I noticed in that first line is driven by businesses within, and I realize you're talking about US Census, but government, manufacturing, and ag, forestry, fishing, and hunting industries. And you say that.
Yeah, and Troy, I don't know where the data comes from, but it says within Platteville City. It's hard for me to believe that within the city, we're driven by ag, forestry, fishing, and hunting. In the city. I'm not saying not in the region or not in Grant County. But
Yeah, and yes, ma'am, you're right. So the data we collect, it's from an economic impact modeling software we have. It's provided through some funding from the state. Same stuff that workforce development tech colleges have. So it is zip code data, but you can't get quality data, universally collected quality data at the city level for a town as small as Platteville. And so that's the tension. We certainly want to recognize the hospital. It's fantastic.
Sure.
One data point doesn't make a data trend. So I'm happy to put in anything that balances that.
so I think I would remove the word city.
Okay.
I would remove the word city around Platteville. I mean, it's really the Platteville region where the local economy is driven by, these bigger things like government, manufacturing, and ag. Within the city, though, we know that major drivers are the university and Southwest Tech, or not Southwest Tech, Southwest Health.
Maybe the wording ought to just say within the Platteville area. Just keep it as simple as that.
Yeah,
Because then it encompasses everything.
and it encompasses,
Yeah.
right?
Within the context of a park plan, because
So do we want area or city? You're the voter, so I'd like to go.
I just want you to get rid of within Platteville City.
Done. Thank you.
I just want you to I don't care if you say area or region or
Okay.
what you say, but I think it's not within the city.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, other comments or
Uh,
questions?
Mark, you started to say something. I wanted to hear what you were finishing.
oh, well, thank you. In general, the purpose of this section within the context of a comprehensive outdoor rec plan is just to recognize that those are the workers that are going to be having families that will be enjoying these park facilities. So it's really just recognizing that. So to the degree you want to add another category, I don't know if hospitals are institutional or what they necessarily are. Usually they're institutional, aren't they?
With the MZ Lightcast, it depends if it's for profit or nonprofit. It really gets in there, and that's it's not really that kind of a report where we need to,
Right.
So I'm
It's not an
happy with.
economic report.
Yeah, right.
So it's not necessarily crucial to the plan itself. It's just recognizing that. And I think putting in the hospital makes a lot of sense because then you want to have amenities that will attract people to we'll say medical for purposes of our discussion.
Okay, any other comments? Otherwise, this would be on our agenda for approval at the next meeting. Or adoption, I guess. Approval, adoption, whatever.
Okay.
Does it have to do with bicycles?
The action plan. Am I not seeing? I see all these parks listed. Sorry. I got it. I didn't see what I was looking for City Park. It's in there.
I think just to share a little information, one thing that the Parks Committee was confused about was the in-depth description of the area and the topography and the demographic data. And we learned that a lot of that's included for grant. Thought it might have been a little wordy, but it turns out a lot of the words are necessary.
Okay, anything else?
I just want to thank you. It's very in-depth. It was actually a pretty decent read. So, thank you.
Yeah, well, I'll extend that to Jacqueline in my office. She did a lot of work on this, so thank you for that comment.
I learned some stuff. Yes. Yeah.
And I think we need to extend thanks to the Park Recreation and Forestry Committee members and to Bob. I understand that they spent considerable time on this plan. And so I think we need to extend, and I believe, Bob, you told me you have plans to now do some strategic planning for the
The
park.
Parks and Rec, kind of used that to actually do strategic planning, a whole separate plan of parks moving forward. So it was a lot of work, but it ended up being very productive. Thank you.
Okay, productive, okay.
Question related, Bob, under the action renovate bandstand, performance space and electrical service for community events within 3 years, does that, the light pole with the cameras, is that out 3 years or?
No, that's going to be in months.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, I
that's,
was
we already
because
did,
there's two nonprofit groups
we're
I know
gonna
that are.
check boxes
right-
quite early
Yes,
right now on
okay.
this one.
But I thought, no,
Yeah.
holding on to them for 3 years.
No,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on our agenda, we're going to hear from Mark on an update on the city manager recruitment. So now he's moving from interim city manager to recruiter for us.
Yes, well, I can switch pretty nimbly on that one. I have the job announcement back in the packet. And then part of me, what I wanted to make sure the council was aware of are some of the key dates because we're planning ahead. So Dave put these in the packets on page 139 and 140 of your agenda packet. But the application deadline is February 6th. And then we will be meeting in closed session and consecutive meetings on February 10th, at which point the council will hear a report from me and approve applicants for interview by the McMahon team, which means me. I'll be the McMahon team for that. I'll have some other people help me review the applications to narrow it down for you. But then the next 2 weeks will be consisting of me interviewing these individuals, typically virtual interviews. And then on the 24th, I'll be coming back to you and reporting back to you on those results, and then recommending a group for interviews by the council. Based on the discussion we had the last meeting, it looks like March 11th and 12th seem to be the right dates. That's a Wednesday, Thursday. So if you could mark your calendars for March 12th in particular, because that would be the interviews. Those are going to be held during the day. So if you're making plans for taking a day off from work or something, I hate to ruin your vacation days, but that's typically what's going to get needed. And then we've already booked the Brodsky Center for a meet and greet that will be held probably 5 to 7-ish. The community can have a chance to meet people, and we'll do it that way. And then we'll talk about some other things in the coming weeks in terms of what else. Barb's kicked around some other ideas that we've done in the past. Want to see if that's something you want to do. I think a tour is definitely something in play. So those are the types of things that we'll be looking at. And then you can see the other dates. The idea would be on March 24th, you would approve the employment agreement. So after the 12th, assuming that you have a consensus candidate, then I'll work on the negotiations and report that back to the council so you can approve it on March 24th. Steve?
You mentioned the Brodsky Center, but you didn't, what date are you talking about?
That would be March 11th, a Wednesday, like 5 to 7. And that's just, we'll notice it as a public meeting so all the council members can be there as well. But it's really intended for the community. Barb and I were at the chamber function last week, and we put that out there just saying, save the date. And the idea is for people to be able to meet people and get a feel for how that person will interact with crowds and everything. And that's certainly something that you talked about in your survey results. You wanted to see somebody with verbal skills, and this will be an opportunity to see them in a more informal setting, which will be more prominent than formal settings. I mean, this is a formal setting, but in reality, the city manager is operating all the time. And so those informal types of things are really what you're going to be looking for.
Okay, any questions? Otherwise, I think we all know what we're supposed to do with our calendars, and that's a good thing. Man, oh man, it's only 6:45. But I would take another motion.
I'll move to adjourn.
I second it.
All right. Colette, we have a motion and a second from Kathy and Lynn to adjourn. We'll vote.
Wisnet,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
motion carries.